And welcome guys to today's nice little tutorial. Now, today's little tutorial is more about modeling and dealing with objects in the scene because somewhat they kind of suck sometimes, and Unity's little editor isn't really intuitive sometimes, and then you got to make tools to fix it and everything. But some of those tools, if you don't want to make them yourself, kind of cost money, and they can rack up you a big bunch of bucks. Now, I'm going to show you a method to do things like this wall here. A lot of people will go in the editor and they will be like, well, we could just make a bunch of objects right here, and then we'll just take this and duplicate it, right? And then we will try to do this, and well, it kind of works, but you never really get it truly perfect. You always get these weird little seams, and then you go in the game and you can see through it. It looks god awful. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it and things, but you could do something about this, okay? And then here's the thing. Maybe you don't want this wall to have be double-sided like this. Maybe you only want it to be one-sided. And then you got to do another model, and then like you have another draw and stuff. But there is a way to do this inside of Blender that's more intuitive than just guessing and adjusting the model and keep going, because who in God's name wants to sit here and do Control D and then like keep going? Maybe I can get it in here and then fix seams and stuff. No, no. This sucks. This isn't very intuitive at all. I mean, this would be bleedy boring to do, right? I mean, who in God's name wants to go Control D and make a big old wall or something like that? And then you're like, well, why don't I just stretch this out? Okay, well, here's the thing about that. Oh, let's say you go and stretch this out this way. Okay, and then you're like going here, and you're like, this is a long wall. Okay, and then you're like, well, I have to adjust the material. Well, when you adjust this material right here, let's give it a scaling of 10. Well, guess what? You just messed up all these other ones, and you're like, oh my god, this is so not cool, right? And that is exactly the reason why I do not use Unity in this manner, because you can really mess up your models, mess up materials, and things of that nature. So really, it kind of blows in every which way, right? And then here's my favorite part. Okay, you'll have this right here, and let's say we have one that has a door, like our sci-fi right here. Sometimes they don't include the other side of this, right? They only make it one side. Or maybe you just need this to be a static door that's just one sided, which you could do in Blender. Very, very easy. You just delete one side. And the reason why we do deletion of stuff that we don't need is because when I face this door here with my guy, right here, it will render front to back. It will render this whole entire door. Just like when it comes to this wall, it renders both sides of this wall because it doesn't care that you can see it or not. It just looks at the, the frontal cone of your camera. Okay? And what I mean by the frontal camera, okay? The frontal camera is the camera that your character is actually using. The camera that you see. Okay, so let's get our thing in here. And I don't know if you can really see this in the video, but it's this front thingy here. See how these white lines are? This is what the engine uses to render. It says, hey, render this stuff in this cone right here. And you have your, your length and how far and everything else. So it will render everything that's inside of this box here. And that's how it knows. Okay, if you can see it, it renders the whole entire model, because the graphics card doesn't know the projection of your thing yet until the shader does its work and stuff. But in order for you to process all that information, it has to throw the entire model in there. And, well, as instance for this wall, I mean, you're going to have several different variations of wall, right? You're not always going to use the same wall, which, there's kind of good and bad things for using all the same objects, because you can use batching and stuff, which batching is really good because you can have saved by batches. It can be really, really high. It's when this batch number right here gets really, really high and your triangles and vertices get extremely high too. That's when you see a lot of graphical spikes. Frames per second will go down a lot because of that. And here's the thing that I'm going to tell you about it. You have to balance between graphics and CPU usage. If your game uses a lot of scripts that are really, really heavy, then that's processor power that you can't use to push the graphics card, because the graphics card goes, hey, processor, what am I doing? And then the processor just throws everything it can at it. So if the processor is working for everything else in your game, like let's say your scripts, then it can't use the other side of the processor, the other, what's left of it, for the graphics card to push it and just throw every model that you have in your camera space, right? So think of it this way, okay? When you're driving in your car and everything else, you're driving about 60 miles an hour down the freeway, you're kind of feathering the pedal a little bit. You're not just ramming it to the ground and everything else, because if you only could get 60 out of your vehicle, then that says that, there's something wrong, right? Well, think of it this way. You're sitting there feathering, and that's what your scripts are doing. But if you wanted to go faster and, just pass everything else up, you'd stomp on the gas a little bit more, right? Well, that's basically what your scripts versus your video card is doing. When your scripts are just feathering away, your speed is so fast that you don't have to use so much gasoline to go all the way down. You don't have to use that raw power, right? So you end up saving gas because you're at a constant speed, and that's kind of how the graphics to the video card works. If your processor is hardly working for your scripts, then the GPU has more processor power to throw models into it, and then you get the screen. Okay, and that's a good way of thinking about it. Okay, and you're probably like, oh, just get a better computer and everything else. When you're developing and stuff like that, the best thing that I can tell you is find the lowest grade PC that you could possibly find. If it runs at 60 frames a second on that thing, then everybody else that's gamers that have really good rigs, they're going to be stomping at 60, 100, or whatever. At that point, they're going to be really, really happy because your game runs really, really good. Versus if you got like a 970 or something like that with 10 gigs of RAM, and the guy goes, dude, this game barely runs at 30 frames a second, it's so bad, then people are not going to like your game, and they're going to go, well, this sucks, and that, and you're going to go, nobody's going to want to play it because their computer is just working to death just trying to play. It makes it very undesirable. Take, for instance, a lot of the games that you see now that are coming out, and when you see the reviews for them, if their graphics card and everything else isn't running very good, and these are people that got meaty computers. I'm talking like 10 gigs RAM, like a 1080, like super video card, right? Big old GeForce, or if you're a Radeon guy, a big old HD. And they can't play it when they got that much. If you require a monster computer in order to play their games, a lot of people are struggling with money and stuff. I mean, you got college students, you got parents where, hey, these parents are, barely scraping by. How the world are they going to afford a $300 graphics card so they can play a game? You know what they're going to tell their kid? They're going to tell them, find a different game, right? Because I just don't have the money. It's either you get a video game and we can't eat, or, you just don't get the game, right? And two, the console system. If you're making it for Xbox or something like that, you have very, very little to work with, I mean, the Xbox got some pretty good hardware, and don't get me wrong, the PlayStation does as well, but, you have the compatibility issues. Hey, it only uses these type of shaders, and there may be a requirement, in order for you to publish, that you have to run at 60 frames a second in all the areas. Which, brings it to a shady gray area and things. But the point of it is, you need to make sure your game runs as smooth as you possibly can. But at the same time, you've got wiggle room, right? There's some processors, I know processes in the game, like your start behaviors. Those can be really, really heavy because you can put them behind a loading screen and then bam, there you go. Then it runs smooth all the time, Or something that's really, really heavy in the beginning, like a get component call that gets like 10 or 15 different things, and then it never happens again, right? Or serialization. That could be really, really heavy because you're getting all these components and generating variables. You can have some lag right there, but people expect you to have that, right? So in these graphics here, each material is another draw call. So that's another like sucky thing that's going to go on. But here's the thing about this. Take this texture right here. This is an Atlas texture. Notice how it has different variations of a texture in here. Well, this is for optimization, okay? You can have several different models that use different materials, like one material, but for 10 different things, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, because the graphics card will only interpret that this is one thing. So instead of getting 1, 2, 3, 4, however, let's say 8 different textures, it's only going to read one. So when it's thrown at the graphics card, you get one draw, okay? One big old draw, and that's really, really nice because that means we've got stuff to play with. Now, I could show you guys how to do this in a nutshell right here. There is a add-on in Blender to do something like this if you have different models and stuff, but that's a whole nother tutorial. That deserves a whole video just on that. But I want you to know that it's there. Now, having several different materials, bad. Okay, bad. See how you can do one atlas, one texture. Okay, this will only read as one in the internal engine. Even though 6 or 7 different items use it, it's going to throw it at the graphics card as one. I don't know what this crap is. So you have a really good option right here. But in Blender, it's going to be a little bit nicer because putting these in place like this sucks. There's no snappiness, and yeah, you can get a little bit of snappy right here, but it's always a little off, and it's not very intuitive. No. And then the pivots right here, where my cursor starts, it could be down here, over here. It's kind of crappy. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it. And that one worked out pretty good, it looked like. But you can have ones that look really, really good, and you go into the game and there's a big old crack where, you know, the light's shining through and it looks god awful. Let's just be frank and straight. So, we can do something about this and do a lot of editing in Blender. So, without further ado, we're going to discuss what we can do in Blender for this. Okay, and you should be don't say Blender crashed on me. That would really suck, right? We really don't need Unity up anymore, so we can kind of exit out of that. And here we go. Alright. So here's the great Blender and things like that. So here's our wall. Let's just pretend it's only one-sided. If you want to know what side is visible or not, there's two things that you can do for this. You can go down here, bring up your panel here, which I call this like my transform stuff, like, I don't know, kind of like my manipulator right here, right? Now, let's give it a texture. Medicat. Boom. And we're going to pick something cool. Blue. Let's do blue. Okay? Now, you see that it calls on both sides? Well, we can fix that by backface calling. Okay? Now you see how it's invisible on the backside? This is the same way that it's going to be in Unity. Okay? Now, you can also make this show the normals. Okay? This is the normal's face. See this blue line right here, how it comes out right here? Might be kind of hard to see in the video. Actually, let's do a Control D. And no, not that one. Control C, Control D, and what? How do you, what? You should be able to, oh, because I'm in edit mode, okay. Alright, well that kind of makes it a little bit better, but we can't see the normals. That kind of sucks, right? So let's take this, go Control D now. What? You can duplicate that thing. I know you can. That's duplicate. Oh, Shifty. Okay, it's Shifty. That's what I get for being in multiple programs, right? It just becomes very, and you can do snapping right here. And the snapping in Blender works really good. I mean, really good. You won't even see a seam. But here's the thing. If this was a wall and everything, this kind of sucks. There must be an easier way to do this, and there is. And what we're going to do is we're going to, well, actually, let's do the normal thing first. When we go to an edit mode, see this little yellow line? I believe I can make this bigger. Yes, I can. Okay, you should be able to see it now. This blue line represents what face the normals are, what you can actually visibly see. Okay, let's make this a little bit more reasonable, about right there. Okay, so the normal comes out this way. So you know in Unity this won't render, just like it isn't rendering here. We just see completely through and go, hey, there's the camera, that's awesome. And then go back here, oh, I can't see through it. So that's a good way of making sure that you can see this stuff in Unity. Okay, now let's say you want to change the origin for it. Now there's two ways you can do this. One, put your cursor down here, and you can go up to here to your tools and go over to, where is it? I know it's here. Oh, it's not in edit mode, it's in the other mode. Yeah. Set origin. Geometry to origin, that means it will pull this to the 0, 0 mark, which would kind of suck because this is what it would do. Oh, that ain't too bad, I guess. So then we got origin to geometry. Kind of sucks. Now you got origin to 3D cursor. Okay, which is right here. You might want that. So origin to 3D cursor, boom. Now the origin point is right there. So when it turns, it will turn from its origin point, which means pretty much when you go to rotate, it rotates like this, which that might be what you want. I'm not saying that it is my forte, or you want center mass, which is in the center of the geometry, which might be your thing, but wherever you stick the origin for your 3D cursor, that's where it's going to be. If you want it over here, up here, or whatever, it will be where it is. Okay? But let's just do origin to center of mass. Okay? Because that makes sense to me. I mean, yeah. Now, because I don't want to sit here and keep moving this around and everything, I don't want to do that because it sucks and it's boring. And it's not very quick. So, what are we going to do? We are going to add a modifier. And what this is going to be is an array modifier. Boom. Okay? And you got all kinds of settings here. But the most important thing is, watch this. If I put the count up here, it should be... Why is it not going up? Okay. You should be working now. Why aren't you? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I gotta put the stuff in here. No? Well, that's just dumb. Fit length. that what it's gonna be? No. Fixed count. Why don't you in the X? Well, that's the X, right? And you're at 30. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, okay. So, if I put your offset a little bit that way, that's what it'll do. Okay. Alright, that makes a lot more sense. See how there's lines right here, but you don't really see them? That's what's going on. So, we've got to put this 0, and we want to go in the Y direction. So we're going to go 1 over. Okay, so now we've got it. I was wondering what's going on. And see how it goes all the way out there? Well, and we can go right here, and there we go. This is much easier to build walls with than our current setup. Okay, and this works for a lot of things. And each one of these is their individual object. Okay, so let's say we want it to be 4. Okay, we apply the modifier. Now we have we should have 4 objects, right? No. It did it all in the same object? Really? I didn't think it did. Wait a minute. It shouldn't have done that. Okay. Fix count. Display in edit mode. You shouldn't be merge vertices and adjust duplicate. No. You shouldn't do that. You should act. Huh. I didn't think it did that. Well, that's kind of weird. I thought it made it into new objects. Because that would kind of edit. I guess you could cut them. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard. Actually, they are different objects. That's what I thought they were. Cube, this, material. Why does the geometry look like it's one object? This is cube 1, right? No, this is cube. Okay. Well, easy way to make a wall, guys. Right there. I don't know why it looks like. Huh. You could do an edge split, and I would do it. But let's say, hypothetically, it could be because I used the model. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Delete. We're going to add a modifier in this one. array, fixed count. We're not going to do it on that side. We're going to do it on this. Okay. Do this in several things. Wait, it's adjusting it in fixed count. Merge vertices and adjust duplicates. Object offset. Huh. Okay. Well, anyway. That's kind of weird. But since this is all big and stuff, let's bring it down some. Very easy to make a wall there. Now, you might be thinking, well, this is just another mesh and everything, which, that's cool. But you can also do something else. You can go down here and you can go into solidify, solid, oh well, something like that. Now you can give it thickness on both sides. How thick do you want it to be? Could be really big, and that could be cool for you. Now, the reason why it's flickering and stuff like that, the UVs on the bottom and the sides are not done correctly. So if you want it to work and not flicker or anything like that in the top and stuff, you'll have to UV unwrap this again. But the front and the back will be fine, okay, because we already had that in the geometry. Or you could do my personal favorite and just delete them. Because this was a wall, we need the front, the back, and that's it, right? So we'll go in edit mode and we'll just go bloop, 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 and just delete them and you'll be fine. Because they probably shouldn't exist anyway, right? Now it'll also do some middle stuff and things, which, that's to be expected a little as well. Alright, now, for the next part that I'm going to show you. It also does it on that as well. So it adds extra geometry and stuff, which, that's to be expected. But look, you have clean both sides of the walls. Usually, oh, it's doing a little flicker in there as well. That could be because of the Medicap or anything else. But I'm pretty actually it could be perfectly fine. Now, let's not do these normals because they're getting on my nerves. And now we have both sides of the wall really easily. Alright, what's solidify? Now, don't apply it before you actually have it the way that you want. But if you did, it's fine. You can just move it just like regular geometry now. Okay? And you have yourself an instant wall. Now let's say you want to do your array thing. Well, you can do the array thing again. Array, fix the offset. Okay, put one here, and there you go. There's two. There's three. And then there's, 5 of clear all the way out. And you're probably like, well, I guess that's fine and all, but is it really something that's going to be useful? Yeah, it can be very, very powerful and useful. So let's delete this. Okay. And notice how it deleted that geometry when I hit the X? It's because it's non-destructible. Unless you apply it, it doesn't stay there. So you can export it out and then like de-do it. Okay. Now, for the next part, we are going to select everything, and we're going to do my favorite thing of Blender is to go up here, and we're going to do remove doubles. This removes any doubles when it comes to vertices. Now, if you watch up here, we got 20 triangles, 40 edges, and 40 vertices. It removed 16 vertices. Okay? Which can help you a lot. Now, you might be thinking, well, it's only 16. Why do I have to do that? If you got a really, really huge level, like, or arms, or you did a weapon, right? If you did something like that, these are merged. Wow. I didn't think they would merge them, but that's okay. If you have something like that, well, let's say, like a really big level, like a bunch of geometry, a bunch of vertices, it can remove a crap ton of vertices on there that you don't even realize that's there. That's doubles that don't need to be there. They're like in the same, very, very same position that they don't have to be there. Okay? It's just extra stuff that hasn't been cleaned up or whatnot. Now, for the next part is what can we do here? How long is this video already? It's been pretty much 30 minutes. Now, I don't want to go over 30 minutes because it's kind of long to go, and you guys might want to work with this trick and stuff. Now, remember to turn backface calling on if you want it to work just like Unity, okay? If you want it to call just like Unity's camera system so you don't make mistakes and mess up normals. Which, in the next video, I'll show you how to flip the normals and stuff like that, in case you don't know. And then I will also show you how to make pieces out of this, like destructible walls. Okay? Things that are, they'll be simple to do, or maybe pivots or something like that. Because we need to work with this a little bit more and show the basic tools so that you guys can learn stuff about animating and working with geometry. So I thank you for watching, and this is Wardon over and out. But please don't forget to hit the little bell underneath, subscribe and like, so that I know this is the kind of content you enjoy, and it helps your channel. When you share, other people watch, and then it just helps the channel. So thanks for watching, and this is Wardon over and out.